Good afternoon. These are your notes for today's lesson, which is entitled Radicals and Rational Exponents. Okay, we have a couple new, well, it's not new, but just a different way to look at things. If I have 1 over a to the n, a is my base, and 1 over n is a rational exponent. Okay, and then 1 over a to the n is actually the same thing as the nth root of a. The n is the index, and a, when it's underneath the radical sign, becomes the radicand. Okay, and this is showing you to change from a rational exponent into a radical. If I have a to the m over n, it's the nth root of a to the m power. And when my rational exponent is negative, it's just 1 over the nth root of a to the m power. So we're just going to go through some examples. The first 4 we're going to write in radical form. So if I have 3 to the 1/2, oh, I forgot to mention something. When you have, I'm just going to write it at the top here, the square root, this right here is an assumed number 2, because it's a square root and square is to the 2nd power. When you have a radical sign, it's assumed that there's a 2 there automatically. Okay, so if I write 3 to the 1/2 as a radical, you can start out by just putting the 3 inside the square root sign, and then the top number becomes to the power. Well, that's a 1, so we're not going to do anything. And because this is a 2, and we assume there's a 2 there, the answer is just radical 3. Number 2, I have y to the 5/3 power. So I'm going to start by putting the y under the radical sign. The top number is what we're raising it to, so it's to the 5th power, and the bottom number is the index. So it's the cube root of y to the 5th power. Number 3 is x to the 3/4 power. So again, I'm going to start by putting x under the radical sign. The 3, the top number, is what everything is to the power of, and the bottom number, again, is the index. So it's the 4th root of x to the 3rd power. Number 4 is z to the negative 1/3. Because it's negative, it has to be under 1, so we use that means reciprocal. And then I can go ahead and put the z in the radical. My top number is 1, so that would be to the 1st power, so we don't write that. And my bottom number is 3, so that becomes my index. Okay. For the next set, it's write each expression in exponential form. So I have the 5th root of x. Remember, the index is the bottom number and to the power of is the top. So this becomes x to the 1/5. My second example is the cube root of x to the 4th power. So that's going to be x to the 4/3. For example number 3, I'm going to do the square root of r to the 5th power. Now, again, because there's nothing there, you want to be careful that it's not a 1. It's actually a 2. So this is r to the 5 halves. Okay, and our last example is 1 over the cube root of y to the 5th power. Because it's a fraction, that means my exponent is negative, and it's going to be 5/3. Okay. Your homework for this is a worksheet that you can grab off of my web page if you want. Other than that, have a great afternoon.